Good morning, everyone. So we're coming to a topic that it concerns us all a lot, but we haven't found the right ways to highlight it as much as possible. That is culture as a component of the growth of the country, of the development of the country, and even more so of the growth of the country. Now, Mrs. Mendoni is one of the very few politicians who have got a full sense of the area they represent, culture, and she's got the extra benefit of having managerial skills, so this discussion can be quite specific and concrete. As a starting point, I'd like to say that I'm impressed by the fact that Eleftherios Venizelos, back in 1936, just in his last interview before his death, when he was asked what he would like to do once again, or from scratch in his life, he said, I would want to be the permanent Minister of Culture and Education in this country, believing that this is the major capital, most important capital of this country. Mr. Mendoni, a couple of years ago, after noting that culture is the fourth leg of development and growth, you connected with the most traditional sense or other concept of culture, which is the ancient beauty that we have to safeguard, and you took a bold move, changing a static element, which was the Archaeological Resources Fund. You moved on building a new structure, and tell us why, how, and what's going on 2 years after that, or 1 year after its implementation. Of course, thank you very much for your kind words. First of all, I wouldn't have said so if I didn't believe what I said. I believe you. So, for the past couple of years, our aim has been to modernize the Ecological Resources Fund because, as you said, it was a structure, an organization, the Ministry of Culture, which had become stagnant, although it manages a huge capital. In other words, the resources that the country can earn and our culture can also earn, let me insist on that, from income earned at the museums and museum bars, museum shops, etc. So a new law was passed for the transformation and modernization of the fund. Its establishment was announced or published in the Government Gazette a couple of a year ago, and it has become a new fund now, the name of which implies the new direction. This modernization coincided with the pandemic, therefore we haven't seen the actual results yet, but we've seen several benefits. Let me tell you an example and you're going to understand it. The average a visitor spends across European museums buying some products as souvenirs, as gifts, that is 6 to 7 euro. In our country in 2019 it was 10 cents, when the cultural reserve and the modern creations that can be coupled with our cultural heritage is vast. It's one of the largest worldwide. Therefore, what I can tell you now is that by upgrading the museum shops, the archaeological site shops, launching new products, approximately 400 new product codes compared to 2019, we have reached, although we have got 6% less visitors in 2021, we have had 300% increase in the revenues of the museum shops. This is amazing. And we haven't done much. 10 cents became 35 cents. This is the difference. However, we aim by 2025, and I'm saying 2025 because we've included the entire development prospect of this organization into the RRF, which is going to finance this effort with 32 million. So by 2025, we aim at reaching the European average, i.e. 6 to 7 euro. And this alone shows the dynamics that the new organization is obtaining. And this morning I was reading, by chance, a new tourism trend, which has been reflected in the SET's survey, which the new trends being well-being and gastronomy. Because of the new, in the old concept of the fund, this would be beyond any conception. However, now these the museums and archaeological sites can sell certified products and accredited products. For instance, in Messinia, there are sites like monasteries, the Andromonastiro. If that were in Tuscany, there would be gastronomy venue for years. Okay, so you're giving me the opportunity to link this to another area, second area, which is thanks to Kikilias and Retsos. We have got a good picture, thanks to their studies, a good picture of our tourism. Of the cultural tourism share, or rather, we have got a very small share of cultural tourism, only 6.3%. Whereas, obviously, we have got so many competitive advantages, and it is estimated that 40% of tourist income comes from culture. You already said how and a way that this could be linked. You did this beautiful thing in the Olympia archaeological site. Now, perhaps the campaign of the Ministry of Culture, along with other organizations, like I said, should move away from Live Your Myth in Greece and towards applications as the ones in the Olympia archaeological site with specific apps. That's changing the entire model. Yes, obviously the model, there's a paradigm shift, there's a change in the model, and according to statistics, cultural tourism accounts for 40% of total tourist economy, and we are indeed lagging behind. The digital transformation of the cultural area at large, be it the management organizations and the ministry, or applications as this one in Olympia can be immensely helpful, and this is already taking place and are included in the financing programs in the current NSRF, in the future partnership agreement, future NSRF. All these applications, in other words, the development of special digital apps for specific archaeological sites, or the creation or the development of interactive exhibitions, digital exhibitions, are underway, and we can't do otherwise. And because I hear a lot of times from people of the world of culture saying, but if somebody sees the exhibition, such as that exhibition on the internet, why visit it physically? Let me repeat once again, according to international the statistics, such digital exhibitions act as a pose of attraction, as a reason why people would like to physically then visit the same site. During the pandemic, we fully understood that technology does help, but the actual physical visit to a museum or a theatre play, live theatre play, cannot be replaced, is irreplaceable, and in fact they're complementary. The physical and the digital are complementary. I think you're absolutely right. Now let's move on to another section. Dimitris Angelopoulos, who is someone who's very helpful and a very good associate. Yes, exactly. He has said that, of course, we own this valuable heritage of classical antiquity, Byzantium, etc. But we have to learn to tap on modern art, contemporary culture. How do you include this in your priorities? First of all, this is part of one of our priorities from the first minute, and this is why we gave priority actually to the creation of this new fund, Acropolis Across, for instance, in Patissyon is going to host all those functions that are going to support the very interesting and quite intriguing contemporary creations. From the very beginning, I had said that we should not be afraid of linking cultural heritage with modern and contemporary creation. Our heritage is part of our DNA. We're not like it, but okay, this is it. It is an inexhaustible source of inspiration. I'm not just talking about museums and archaeological sites, but also the ancient letters and from antiquity to Byzantium. And in order to overcome and give a way out during the pandemic, we created this entire Greece a culture, a single culture. So contemporary creations are exhibited and displayed in archaeological sites. And speaking as an archaeologist, I would like to say that watching a contemporary theater play or a musical show in an ancient site, archaeological site, you take a different view of the site itself. This is why it's very important to link the two. Because one empowers the other. Very clear, and I hope that this has been embraced by the organizations. Yes, I see that it is gaining acceptance. Let me say that this year, and actually the new tender, or the entire Greece a single culture, will include, is going to be announced and will be inspired from the centenary since the disaster of Asia Minor. In my path so far, I've understood that there's a critical difference, that we all highlight the value of culture, but when we come to power, the Ministry of Culture is allocated the list of funding, the list of funds. I wouldn't want to disillusion you, but in the last couple of minutes, please share your vision about how the cultural policies could be harmonized and be embraced not only by a single government, but to be made understood that the development of our dynamic identity is the best thing we can offer to the country's development and growth. Obviously, this is obvious. This is so. I will just say one thing about budget. We shouldn't just look at what the state budget has to allocate to the Ministry of Culture and culture at large. Culture in Greece has been boosted in recent years because of the community programs. More than 2 billion in the past 15 years have been 20 years have been invested in culture and coming from European funds. Also, the RRF is a huge opportunity for culture, not only because 600 million is allocated to the Ministry of Culture, but because there are many other programs that are associated with culture, and funds can be drawn therefrom. Now, regarding what you said, I believe that people increasingly understand the difference between the market, the economy of culture, the silver economy in which Greece can really invest in order to raise funds, the economy of experience, and the market economy. Culture, market, and economy are concepts that go hand in hand, and this is something that we're trying to convey. This is what cultural managers, cultural scientists, and business managers fully adopt. So these are the dynamic coefficients, these are the drivers rather, and let's hope that this is embraced by the administration and by the new generation. Well, culture is a profoundly political concept, so you don't only expect agreement, but you want some sort of you want mildness and open-mindedness. And this is a form of culture. And I would like to say that this is the essence of culture, that you learn through disagreements. This is how you move to synthesis and creation. Exactly. Mrs. Mendoni, we have reached the end of this interview, and you have given crucial responses with regard to the topic of this conference. How we're going to rally all forces to make a leapfrog ahead. Yes, and culture is about quality, and this quality can ensure the future of the